with Brandon.burks.
Women are so intuitive,
Yes.
and we bring a point of view that men don't, and men bring a point of view that women don't.
Sure.
And so anytime I'm in a room and I'm the only woman, which is less and less now, which is wonderful, I make sure to bring that to the table. Like, it is a superpower to be a woman, and we should really be women and not try to be like all of the men in the room.
Wait, so that no one interrupts our calls, I put it on Do Not Disturb. So I was just like sitting here like, I wonder when she's gonna call back. And then I looked at the phone and I was like, oh, I missed it!
You're so cute. I was like, does he not want to talk to me?
How are you?
Honey.
Hi.
Oh, I'm all right. How are you? Cheers.
Cheers. Are you having coffee?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, me too.
Yeah.
I don't drink it often, but
doing?
I'm good. I am in my apartment right now, just keeping myself
In New
busy.
York?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm keeping myself busy, which has been exciting.
Yeah.
Because I've gotten to create a lot of content online through fitness, through teaching dance online. Yeah, and then I'm doing this show, so it's been nice to have all of that as an outlet right now.
When did you start doing this show?
Maybe 2 weeks ago.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and so I think you're episode 6. Yeah, I think you're episode
I was episode 6 on this other podcast I did.
Really?
Yes.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I was going through my list of like people in the, arts community, because at first it felt very theater centric because Broadway shut down. And then I was like, we're all at home doing the same thing, experiencing the same loss in some medium. So I want to talk to all of my friends in the different pockets to see how we're all like, adapting, getting on and dealing with it all,
Yeah, totally. It's been, I think, especially for artists, it's been really hard. Because no one's been able to do anything, even in the TV space.
Yeah.
It's been tough.
So tell me about that, the TV space. That's why, you were like a gold asterisk star for me. I was like, I have to talk to Carolina because, what does a normal day in an office look like for you before this?
Before this, there was a lot of travel because we film, our productions film all over the world. So I was in London, I was in Atlanta, I was in New York, I was in Vancouver, I was in Shreveport, Louisiana, visiting our production. So there's a lot of that. There were a lot of pitch meetings, lots of also, so pitch meetings are to determine whether or not I want to buy a project and develop the project and ultimately make it a series.
Right.
And then, there was like project management basically, because I am the creative point person on a ton of projects that are currently on Netflix and also that were in development and hadn't yet made it on. So if that means talking to our marketing team or our business affairs team or our production team, we also do the casting for all our series. So it was really just, depending on the day, meetings about a variety of anything from casting to notes calls to giving feedback on material to our showrunners to talking about development and what new shows we wanted to do, and then also helping guide the creative for the shows that are already on the service.
Gotcha. So take me back before, we're pitching meetings and flying everywhere to, your roots. You were a ballet dancer before you were, in pitch meetings. So how did you transition out of dance into that side of entertainment?
Yeah, so I, growing up, always thought I would be a performer. And so, I grew up a ballet dancer. I found musical theater in high school, and I went to a high school that had a really exceptional and great theater program. And so for me, that was like, oh my gosh, this is, I found my people. I found the place that made me feel like me, and that I could combine both my love for singing, because I also came out of the womb singing, and dancing, and it was just like I felt like home, like I was home. And then when it came time to actually go to college, I had this weird moment of like, because my family were immigrants, so we came from Argentina,
Right.
and I remember thinking like, I should go to school and study something that's going to get me a job out of college, because, you know, for my parents to have come here and sacrificed everything, like, I have to have a job.
Yeah.
And so for me, it was like, I love theater, and I love performing, and my parents are so supportive and wanted me to pursue the arts, but I just had this thing, number one, because I was like, I want to work out of college, and number two, I thought, well, I'm naturally good at the arts and performance. I should probably go to school to study something that I know nothing about.
Right.
And so I did a total 180 and like fork in the road, just decided to study business, went to school in San Diego, even though I always thought I'd go to school in New York, and kind of just departed and did something totally brand new.
Wow.
And tried that out. And so from there, when it came time to actually, when it came time to actually find a career path, that's when I found entertainment and television.
Okay, so you're going to college in San Diego, and then 20th Century Fox is your first internship. Where do you find that? How do you go, this is the right fit for me? Like, what was that moment like?
Yeah, so it was kind of a weird way of going about it. At the time, I was obsessed with 24. It was like the thing that I was like, what do I do? Like, I should probably figure out what to do with my life right now. And I couldn't think of any. I needed to somehow marry my business degree with some version of entertainment or theater. My family lives in the LA area, and so even though in my soul I love New York, I feel like I'm a New Yorker, I thought, okay, LA is kind of like where entertainment happens on this coast, and so I should focus on TV. And so then from there was born like, well, I wonder if I could get an internship at Fox because I love 24.
Right.
And it was through a friend of my cousin's who worked at 20th, and, you know, just kind of got an internship through there. And from there, I made really great connections, and they offered me a job right out of college. I don't know how the internship world kind of behaves now.
Right.
But I do know that, sorry, there are so many gardeners outside. But I do know that, like, there are programs, like there's this woman called the Internship Queen, and she helps place people in internships across the country. So back when I did it, it was kind of like, I didn't go through a program. I just operated from a place of curiosity,
right,
and asking questions and asking people for guidance and help, and kind of that's where I found my path.
Okay, so you said, you know, even though you went to school for business, you wanted to find a job that was still in entertainment. Tell me why.
Yes. Well, because I think if you're any version of an artist, that will always live inside of you.
Right.
And for me, I thought, okay, I cannot imagine my life or a world in which I don't have arts in my life.
Yes.
And I also, you know, to be totally honest, was too scared and too chicken shit to ever pursue a career as a performer, because it's really tough.
It's very hard.
You can be so good your entire life, and still, you know, the hustle is real.
Yeah.
And I just was riddled with like self-doubt and like, Carolina, who do you think you are? You can do it, da da da. And so that was one reason, I think, if I'm being totally honest, that I didn't just say, fuck it, I'm gonna go for it.
Right.
But I didn't, you know, I obviously, I was in my early 20s, so I had no awareness of that. I just thought, I'm not doing that. Like,
right,
no way. I have to make money, and I know that the struggle is real for artists,
right,
and I wanted to have a career and all that stuff. Because I also do have a business brain, so it was like both sides of me were kind of trying to navigate the real world right out of college. So, but all that said, I knew that I had to do something where there was entertainment, where there was performance. That's just where my soul lives. And I thought if I could be around it at least, like that is enough fulfillment for me.
Right. Okay. So now
that's where I landed there.
Okay, so you're at Fox. You know, you're under amazing wings there. Then you reach out to Netflix. So tell me how that transition happened.
Yeah, so I was at 20th Century Fox TV for 9 years, and I was a Fox baby is what I call myself. Like I had incredible mentors there. I loved my experience there. Everything I learned from my first boss and all my subsequent bosses there. And you know, I kept moving up and getting promoted. And as a company, it was like really what I consider to be the best studio, the television studio in the business. And so I learned everything I know from there. But you know, 9 years in, I was like, okay, I was at another fork in the road, and I was like, I could stay here for the rest of my career and be perfectly happy and be content, but I will feel stagnant. And like, I needed something different. I needed a new challenge. I needed to explore and grow. And at the time, this was now like 4.5 years ago, maybe 5 years ago, I had stumbled on this thing called the Culture Deck, that is Netflix's Culture Deck. And it talks about how the company operates and how they function from a culture perspective. And I read it and I was like, there's no way that a company actually works like this, because it was amazing. I was like, holy shit, this is like really cool. And so, of course, I knew nobody at Netflix, and they were barely doing original programming, like original series. And I was like, okay, I'm going to figure out a way to just meet with people and figure out what they're doing and how they operate, because it sounds really cool. And so I think I like bugged everyone I knew that knew anybody that worked at Netflix to just give me a meeting, a coffee, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, so that I could just pick their brain about how they work, because I was so curious about it. And then one of those coffees was with my future/current boss, and at the end of our coffee, he was like, well, I'm starting this new initiative, which is, and at the time this didn't exist, there was a real lack of young adult programming and family programming. And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna do this because there's a white space. Would you feel, you know, I'm hiring someone, but probably not for a while. And I was like, well, you're gonna hire me. I don't know what you're gonna have to do or what I'm gonna have to do, but I will be hired for this job. And so then, you know, went through the process of interviews and meeting and doing all that stuff, and got the job there. And so since then, I've been working on the young adult and family programming team.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
and
really...
now we're doing a lot of original series, but at the time it was kind of like, what's going on over there?
Absolutely. I think I've even seen from starting college what we used to watch on Netflix to now, you know.
Yes.
It's a completely different service and offering.
Oh, yeah.
It's kind of amazing. So from, you know, a script submission to a stream date, what is that process where you're involved?
Yeah. So I'm involved in every step of the process.
Okay.
So from the beginning, if X writer has an idea and they come in and pitch it to us, I then determine whether or not this is the right story for Netflix.
Right.
And if it is, wonderful. You know, we'll buy it and we'll develop it with the creator. And so I am the creative liaison, I guess you could say. So once you have a story and we buy your idea or buy your script, then I work with you to make sure that it is the best creative execution of your vision. And so that's a lot of feedback. It's a lot of talking through intention and every script, every outline, every cut. We're there for all of it. We also help cast the show through our casting directors. So, you know, we don't necessarily have a casting department. And then we figure it out. Like, we are in lockstep with the showrunner and creator at every turn.
Yeah.
And so we're their person within the company to, you know, to do everything with.
Okay.
And then, you know, we have a pretty significant point of view on the marketing material and anything that that the world sees in regards to the show.
Okay. So when a new show, you know, is in front of you and they have however much time to pitch to you, what are you looking for? Are you looking for a feeling? Are you looking for something that you haven't seen before? Like, what do you look for?
It depends. I think at the end of the day, we're looking, like, I love pitches because, like, it's story time.
Yeah.
Literally, someone comes in and for an hour I get to hear a story.
Yeah.
And so we're looking for a good story.
Yeah.
Something that, you know, I personally find that the best stories are not stories that are trying to be replicas of something else. So a lot of times when you see a successful show, the next 6 months of pitches is, well, this is your new Stranger Things. This is your new 13 Reasons Why. This is your new Atypical. This is your new Sabrina. And it's like, great, but when those shows came in, they weren't trying to be anything.
Yeah.
They were really true to who they were. And I think every creative and every writer and everyone should operate from a place of truth.
Yeah.
And the ones that really work are, hold on a second. Honey, I need you to whisper. Mike is playing video games. The quarantine struggle. Oh my God.
What a real moment. That's so funny.
Oh God. But yeah, like operating from a place of emotional truth is really important to me because you can feel it when there is a story that is burning to be told. That's how you know it's going to transcend and it's actually going to reach people, because if you feel something, chances are that someone watching this is also going to feel it.
Yeah.
And so obviously it depends on what the show is, and if it's if it's a horror show, you're looking for scares, or a mystery, you want to care about the mystery and you want to follow it. But I think deep down we all want to connect, and we all crave connection. And the best way to do that is at the pitch stage. When someone's telling me a story, I have to connect with it. And if I don't, or for whatever reason it just felt lacking, like there's a good chance that it won't connect with an audience. And obviously not every incredible show finds its audience, but a lot of them do.
Wow. So what does it feel like? How about this? Let me do a two-part question.
Yeah.
What do you think your struggles have been as not only an immigrant, but also a woman in such a male-dominated industry? And how, what has that taught you about yourself?
Okay, so there's a few things. As both an immigrant and a woman and an immigrant from a South American country adds its own layer of difference. But I think, first of all, when you have an immigrant coming to a brand new country, they are essentially born at the age in which they've arrived at that country.
Wow.
So, like, you know, my parents came here when they were, I think, 35, and they had 3 kids. They didn't know the language. My dad listened to Bob Dylan tracks or whatever they were to learn English. And he had to start from scratch at 35 years old. And so when you are thrust into that environment as a grown-up, that's like me moving to I don't know where without knowledge of anything in that country and starting and trying to survive with a family. It's really hard. And you hustle like no one's business. And so I think one of the things that I learned that really shaped my work ethic is that my parents worked and continue to work, because when you're born at 35 in another country, you have to catch up. You're 35 years behind people who were either born into wealth, were born in this country and know the language, who had access to things. And it's really hard, but also the grit that you have to make it, and the determination and the will is really remarkable. So anytime I see someone who's come to another country especially if it's because they want to give their family a better life. It's really remarkable to see how hard parents especially work to adapt. And you know, my dad was really set on making it here. And so we came here, and you know, in my home, my grandma also lived with us. She like came to visit and then never left. So my dad was like, okay, well now I have another human. But like at home, we spoke Spanish with my grandma. My dad was like, I'm learning English. Y'all are learning English. So we're only speaking English. So I only to this day talk in English to my dad, but my mom and I speak in Spanish. So I loved knowing both languages growing up. Wow. It's made everything so easy. But yeah, I think that was one of the things that I just learned in terms of being an immigrant, and like it's really incredible. And there's no excuse to not make it. You just fucking work.
Yeah.
And you do it, and you try hard, and you don't quit, and you don't expect anything to be given to you or handed out to you. You just work. And I know that there are so many programs to help marginalized groups of individuals, which I think are incredible. But growing up, my dad was like, no, you will succeed based on your merit. And so you're going to work hard, and you're going to do what it takes to make it in whatever you choose to do. And so I think that's really shaped me and how I work. And in terms of being a woman, I am now, I think every human being is remarkable. And I used to try to be like one of the boys in my meetings and, you know, hang with the boys and do all that stuff. And then I was like, no, we shouldn't try to be like anybody else. Because I was hired because I'm me. You're going to be hired because you're you. And you should not try to fit into the mold that was created for whatever reason, whether it's our own or like societal. Like, we have to show up as who we are. And I think I was fortunate that when I first started, I worked for a woman who at the time was like one of the only women at the top in entertainment. And so I learned a great deal from her about not only what it takes, but like the sacrifice. Yeah. She's a mom, she's a wife, like it's tough. And I think a lot of times there isn't space to be both a really great executive, actor, director, writer as a woman, and also mother, wife, you know, feminine person. It was either one or the other. And I think now, luckily, we're moving into a place where it's like you can be both, or all three, or whatever. And it's the same with men. Like, I think even, you know, I work with a lot of men who are gay, and in the beginning, like, they didn't feel comfortable saying they were gay. Yeah. Because you had to fit into a very specific box. Right. And now it's like, no, that experience and that point of view and who you are only makes you better. So, like, we shouldn't be covering who we are, because that doesn't make us better at our jobs. And so, you know, through like lots of self-exploration, I learned that, and I also uncovered like one of the things that was critical to me, and I just discovered it again, and it was like singing. I love it, and I started doing it again, but I was really scared to do it because of all the judgment and the like, oh no, they're not going to take me seriously and all that stuff, you know? Yeah,
well, you are quite the cabaret singer, Miss Thing. That is how we met each other.
That is how we met each other. I can't wait to sing with you.
I can't wait to sing with you again. That is what I love about you, though, is that you, like, have this other, like, trick bag. Because you were on stage, and I was like, oh, she's legit. Like, she can sing. Good for her.
Thanks, Sunny.
You're welcome.
Thanks, Sunny. Oh, thanks. Yeah, but I think, you know, I think that's one of the things. Like, I hid and I concealed the fact that even that I was a dancer for a long time in my adult life, because I wanted to be taken seriously. Yeah. And I also thought, like, I'm not that good. Who do I think I am? It's not like, I was like self-judging and self-editing with this thing that, like, obviously I'm not the best singer in the world, but it's something that God gave me. Yeah. And for me to say, no, I'm not going to share it because, like, it's on my ego. Like, oh no, what if people think I suck? What if this? What if that? Like, if every artist and every singer succumb to that self-doubt, there would be no singers. Yeah. There would be no musicians. Like, it's not our job to say, I'm not good enough, so I'm just not going to do it. Like, our job is to show up, do it. Whoever finds joy in it or peace in it, even if it's one person, like, that's so much. Like, you've then added joy or added meaning to one person's life, and like, that's incredible. And it's not up to you to say, I'm not good, so I'm not going to do it. And I think, you know, we all have to remember that, because like, otherwise we get into our own heads so much.
Absolutely. Because sometimes you have to show them. I think that's one of the best lessons I've learned, and I heard it again from Jennifer Lewis recently. Sometimes you have to show people who you are and what you do, so that they go, oh, I've been needing that. I didn't even know that person did that, you know?
Yes. And when you can show them in a forum that's not an audition, because auditions are like the fucking worst. If you can, it's in your court and you do it however you choose to do it, whether it's like, you know, hosting your own show or like doing anything online, like, just show them, put it into the world. Because your job is to put it into the world, and now, thank God, there's so many avenues in which you can do that, and people will find you.
Wow.
I love that advice.
I've loved talking to you today.
I love talking to you.
You
look beautiful as ever.
Thank you. Honestly, it's like giving me a reason to like do my hair and iron my shirt every now and again, you know?
Yes.
So, what encouraging word would you leave everyone with right now?
Well, my favorite thing to say is YOLO. Like, it sounds so stupid, but if you have anything that you've been wanting to do or wanting to try, and you've been too scared, because at the end of the day, the reason we don't do anything is because we're scared. Just do it. Like, dare to suck. Who cares? And if your fear is no one's going to show up, no one's going to watch it, okay, well, find that out when you get there. But, like, do it. Just do it. And get out of your own way. I think that's that, you know, I hope that resonates with someone, because there are so many talented people and so many people with wonderful ideas that are just too scared to do anything about it. So just do it.
Wow. Just do it.
Just do it.
Nike got it right, honey. Well, it was amazing to talk to you today.
So good talking to you.
And I can't wait to see you. Once this is all over, I will be there, mask or high water, honey. I'll be there, okay?
Yes, mask or high water.
I'm there.
I
love you. Love you, Carolina. Talk soon, okay?
I love you too.
Bye.
Okay. Bye, honey.
Thanks for watching.